All right. Hey, sleepy lady. This is you when you were one. Right now, you are having a hard time sleeping. So, I'm going to tell you one of Mama's sarcastic summaries. And for anybody else who ends up watching this, who's not Miss Alice here, Mama's sarcastic summaries are what happens when I try to tell a story. I get a little tangential. I go off track and I get a little sarcastic because, quite frankly, some of these stories are really messed up. Anyhow, this first one, and I hope to do more of these. Tonight, Miss Alice couldn't sleep, so it's a perfect night to record our first sarcastic summary. And these are just stories that I tell a young lady here when she can't sleep. And I have to remember them off the top of my head. Our first one is Little Red Riding Hood. And the reason this is not marked for kids, I have it marked for adults, not for kids, is because I'm probably going to swear without noticing that I'm swearing. Yeah. Mama's got a gutter mouth. Oh, you are very sleepy. I wish you'd go back to bed. All right. So, tonight's story is the first one we actually ever told. It's Little Red Riding Hood. Or, as I like to call it, the story of the strange little inattentive girl who didn't listen to Mama.
The baby?
No. I'm doing a thing called Mama's Sarcastic Summaries. You know, the stories that I tell Alice that are kind of all over the place, not actually the real thing. I'm recording it for YouTube, so she'll have it later.
Oh, so that's on there too now?
No, you're yes, this little conversation is definitely on there, yes. But you're not on it yet. All right. It's kind of like my music videos, except Alice can watch them. Oh, hey. Okay, anyway, so the story of the tiny little brat who didn't listen to Mama. All right. So Little Red Riding Hood lived with her mother in a small town outside of a forest, a very big forest. And one day, while Little Red Riding Hood was playing, her mama called out to her, Little Red Riding Hood. Oh, because everybody called her Little Red Riding Hood. Okay. So Little Red Riding Hood, as you will probably read stories about, she has this hood. It's a hooded cape type deal. Like they call it riding hood. I'm pretty sure it's for riding horses. So, you ride a horse, you have to have something to keep you warm. So riding hood. And apparently this kid was there was nothing remarkable about her except for that hood. So everybody in town called her Little Red Riding Hood. Anyway, even her own mom can't remember her name and calls her Little Red Riding Hood. Wow. Did you get oatmeal in your hair again? Anyway, so Little Red Riding Hood. She calls out, Little Red Riding Hood, come here for a minute. And Little Red comes running into the house. I think she was like 7 or 8 at the time. And Mama goes, your grandma on the other side of the forest, she is very sick. So we got to bring this basket of goodies to her. You know what that basket of goodies was? It was probably just bread and cookies, right? Okay, bread and cookies. So I need to send you to your grandmother's with this basket of bread and cookies because grandma's not feeling good. And apparently mommy wasn't either, probably on drugs if she's sending her 7 or 8-year-old kid, 3-hour walking trip through the forest with a basket of food. Anyhow, so Little Red goes, I can do it. And she takes the basket and she starts walking away and Mama calls out, but whatever you do, stay on the path. If you stay on the path, Grandma's house will be right at the end of that path. Don't get off that path. Little Red goes, okay, and keeps walking. And then right as she's getting towards the forest, Mama says, hey, and don't talk to strangers. Big rule, right? How hard is it not to talk to strangers? Yeah? How hard is it not to talk to strangers? Anyhow, so, of course, within 10 minutes, Little Red Riding Hood completely forgets rule number 1 and goes right off the trail. Where she's approached by a wolf and forgets rule number 2, don't talk to strangers. Now, you and I, we know better than, talking to a talking wolf. I mean, if a wolf is talking, you probably need your meds checked, kid. But, so big bad wolf, we don't know it's a big bad wolf yet. We just think it's a wolf, a very friendly talking wolf, comes approaching this lovely little blonde brunette. I don't know. Some say she's blonde. Some say she's brunette. This book from the Golden Book of Fairytales says she's a redhead. Either way, we're going to call her blonde. This lovely little blonde child with her Red Riding Hood sees a big bad wolf and says, no, that's what you're supposed to say. That's not what she said. She says, oh, hi there. The big bad wolf goes, hey. What you got there in that basket? The little red goes, oh, just some bread and cookies and stuff for my grandma. She's sick. She lives in that cabin at the end of this path. The path that's like nearby. It's got a red door. Do you see the problem with that? She literally not only talked to a stranger, but gave him personal information. We don't give personal information away like that. Oh, all right. Now, Big Bad Wolf knows exactly where Grandma lives now, doesn't he? Yes, he does. He knows exactly where Grandma lives. All right. Anyhow, so he sees this basket and goes, oh, I'm so hungry. So hungry. I can trick her out of her basket. I'll eat what's in the basket. Bread's not exactly my favorite, but it's food. Right? So he goes, hey, oh, well, aren't you just the sweetest little thing? I tell you what, does your grandma like strawberries? Does she? You know, Little Red goes, does she tells him, well, yeah, she does. And Big Bad Wolf goes, well, I tell you what, you're such a sweet girl. Why don't I watch your basket for you? And you can go pick some strawberries. Okay. First right decision of the day. Well, maybe not. Little Red goes, I'm going to need the baskets for the strawberry. I'm going to need the basket for the strawberries. Wow, I pluralized the wrong word. Mama didn't know how to pluralize. Anyway, so she takes that basket and she goes and she says, she starts picking up all them strawberries that she can find. And the juicy ones, the sweet ones, the good ones. You know what? The Big Bad Wolf, he starts hatching up a new plan. All right, well, if I can't get her away from the basket, what did she say? What did she say? Grandma lives in the house at the end of the path with the red door. With the red door, huh? Well, there's only one house in this entire forest. So that's got to be hers. And Grandma's probably a little plump. And there's nobody nearby. Otherwise, why would they send their 7 to 8 year old granddaughter with food? Because if she had neighbors, the neighbors would take care of her, right? And obviously, she can't order from Grubhub. No. Well, Grubhub might not be around by the time you understand this. Grubhub is a company who sends out people in cars to kind of deliver food for you. You order your food, and then random people, strangers, deliver your food for triple the price that it would normally cost. And they get screwed, you get screwed. Grubhub makes some money, though. Anyway, long story short, yeah, she couldn't exactly Grubhub her food, could she? Anyway, so Big Bad Wolf goes, all right, I need to get her distracted again. While she's distracted again, I'm going to go eat Grandma. Maybe her too. She's kind of tiny, though. It's all bones. Yeah. Anyway. So, and you'll find out soon that she might not have any neighbors, but she had somebody looking out for her. All old people do. Anyway, so as Little Red Riding Hood comes trotting back, she's doing her little skip, swinging her basket. She comes back to thank the Big Bad Wolf for his great idea about strawberries, and Big Bad Wolf goes, you know what? Does your grandma like flowers? Does Grandma like flowers? Little Red goes, oh, yes, she does. She must. She has like 5 different flower beds outside her house. She must absolutely love flowers, because who doesn't love something that is slowly dying and ends up completely dead in 2 days with slime and gross stuff sticking to a glass pot bottom. Ugh. Anyway, so she goes ahead and she goes, yeah, Grandma likes flowers. Big Bad Wolf goes, oh, well, then you should pick a whole bunch of them right between those trees over there. There's a bunch of flowers. Some of them are yellow. And my favorite are the white ones with the yellow bits in the middle. You know what those are called? You're going to know. Well, right now you don't know. When you're older, you're going to know. Those are daisies. So he sends her out to a big daisy field. And something else you're going to figure out because of our backyard. Yeah, little kids, they like to pick flowers. And it takes a long time to make. So while Little Red goes running off to go pick flowers, the big bad wolf zooms. He knows a shortcut. He knows exactly where Grandma's house is now. So he takes a shortcut and gets there in like maybe 30 minutes. He's got a nice head start because Little Red still has like an hour before she's gonna get there. Well, no, an hour's walk. He gets there in like half that time because he knows the shortcuts. Right. So he's got a good, good. Like at least 45 minutes head start. It's gonna take her 15 minutes to pick all them flowers. Anyhow. Ooh, toes. Toes. Okay, so Big Bad Wolf rushes on ahead. And then gets to Grandma's door. Don't ask me why Grandma opened the door to a talking wolf. Like, I know Mommy's not allowed to go anywhere near the forest when there's animals out there because she'll try to pet them, but they don't talk. If one of them were to stand up and go, "Hey, Jess, what you doing?" I'd probably scream bloody murder and run right back in the house. But Grandma was apparently very surprised at having a visitor. So she went and she didn't even bother looking at the people. She just opened the door. And here's where the story gets a little different because Grimm's is grim. This little book that we have here that I do end up reading to you now and again, this little book says that Grandma got scared and ran away. Grandma didn't get scared and run away in the original story. Grandma was eaten in the spot. And this wolf was literally so hungry, he ate the grandma in one bite. So much so that she was still alive and kicking him in the stomach. So, of course, if you've got something the size of a grandma in your stomach and she's kicking the living daylights out of you, you're going to want to lay down. Belly aches hurt, man. So, I have no idea if I've been swearing or not. Anyway, so Grandma's kicking up his stomach and he needs to lay down. Just thinking, oh, geez. Okay, well, little that wee little friendly way to put this is daft. That wee little daft girl is going to be here in probably about half an hour if she takes that path, right? Half an hour. I need to protect myself. Yeah, I know it's a sad story. Either that or Mommy's voice is really driving you up a wall. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put on Grandma's clothes because, well, I don't know. Back then, it was really strange for that. It was a disguise. So I'm going to be careful about what I say now. But apparently, he thought dressing up in Grandma's night clothes would help hide his identity, although I'm really not so sure how anybody would be confused by a wolf in a bonnet. I mean, I'd be confused if I saw a wolf in a bonnet, but I wouldn't think that a wolf in a bonnet would be Grandma. I mean, anyway, this girl really is kind of slow. So, he's lying down trying to take a nap, expecting more food to come, and praying that Grandma stops kicking him in the belly. And Little Red doesn't even bother to question the fact that the door is wide open. Just trots right in with her basket and her flowers and la la la, whatever you want to call it. Grandma, Mama said you weren't feeling too well, so I brought you a basket. I don't know where that accent came from. She is not that kind of Southern. Anyway, she walks in with her basket, trotting, skipping, whatever. And she goes, "Grandmother, I have brought you some food. And I met this nice wolf on the way over, and he said to grab you some strawberries. So I got you some of them strawberries too. And then a big bouquet of flowers to brighten up your sick table." Well, bedside table, except you call it a sick table when you're lying there not feeling too well. It's either that or a lopsided table whose contents are spilling out all over the floor. Regardless, So, well, I guess she doesn't question the door being open or her grandmother not coming to greet her because, well, Mom said Grandma's sick. So, if this is the time period that I think it is, the last time she was sick, it was probably polio and she was in bed. So she didn't question it. She just walked right into Grandma's bedroom, saw the big bad wolf in Grandma's clothes, and apparently believed it was just a funny looking grandma. Said, "Why, Grandma, what big ears you have!" Noticing that the ears were sticking out of the bonnet. And the big bad starts tucking them under the bonnet and says, "Oh, why, dear, all the better to hear you with." And then Little Red, staring at him some more, goes, "Grandma, your eyes are weird." And actually, what she says is, "Grandmother, what big eyes you have." Which is a little odd, because most grandmothers don't have really large eyes. And the eyelids kind of sag down after a little while, and they end up looking like mommy's eyes. And they absolutely usually have to use glasses. So, yes. Oh, well, maybe that's why she had big eyes, because of glasses. So she wasn't wearing it. The big bad wolf was not wearing Grandma's glasses, so it doesn't work that way. Anyway, the grandmother, what big eyes you have, Big Bad Wolf says. "Oh, dearie, all the better to see you with." Once again, he was not wearing glasses. So she must not have seen her grandmother in like ever. Anyway. And then Little Red's starting to finally get a little confused. "Grandmother, what's up with them 3-inch teeth?" Obviously, the real story is, "Grandmother, what big teeth you have." And this is when the big bad wolf jumps up and goes, "All the better to eat you with." And he swallows her up whole too. Of course, you know, if a wolf is jumping at you with the mouth full of teeth, like wide open, you're going to scream. So, about 30 to 45 minutes prior, when Grandma screamed, there happened to be a woodsman nearby. And he heard the scream while he was cutting wood. Well, in between cutting wood, because a good woodsman sharpens his axe in between trees, or in between every so many trees. I think the standard is like every 5 trees you sharpen your knife. It's a riddle. You'll figure it out. I will probably tell you that riddle when you're older. But so he's probably sharpening while he's sharpening his axe. He probably hears Grandma screaming bloody murder. But, you know, she kind of got eaten pretty quick, so it was probably just one quick and then all was gone. So he starts walking towards the house. And then when Little Red gets eaten, because she's already scared after seeing the eyes and then the teeth, and the big bad wolf jumps at her. So obviously she screams and has enough time to run a little bit and scream some more before big bad, swallows her up in one big gulp too. So as the woodsman was walking towards the cottage, he heard Little Red scream and pinpointed exactly where he needed to go. So he jumps in through this open window and he goes, "Aha! You again! Why are you constantly harassing the people and animals in this forest?" And not realizing and seeing, well, no, yes. So he did realize, seeing the bulge in the big wolf's belly wriggling around and making all sorts of weird shapes, he cuts the wolf. Actually, I'm not even sure. Hold on. The book might tell me this one. I can't really remember if the wolf, I think he puts the wolf to, no, that's a different fairy page. All right. Oh, okay. No, not that story. That story's a little too, that one's definitely PG. So in this story, the woodcutter scares the wolf away. In the actual story, I believe it's simply the woodcutter kills the wolf, cuts open the belly, and out pop Grandma and Little Red in perfect condition, if not a little nauseated, because the inside of a wolf probably smells horrible. And from that day on, Little Red, hopefully, listened to Momma when Momma said don't stray off the path, and don't talk to strangers. And don't give out personal information. And don't go traveling 10 miles alone in the forest at 7 years old or 8 years old. And you are completely passed out, and you've been passed out the entire time. But when you're older, you will hear this obnoxious rendition of this tale, and hopefully it will bring you some happy, if not a little bit of, what do the kids call it today? Cringe. Ew, that was my mom. Mom's a weirdo. Ew, my diaper was on TV. That's not the funniest story. But I love you. And ask me to tell you that story again. And maybe I'll come up with a better one for you. A better tangential, sarcastic version of it. All right. Good night, sweetheart.